Geek Squad.
About tech. On a Tuesday evening, I think we should call Tuesdays Geek Days. Because, yeah, that's when we're around.
Literally catching fire and burning down. So there might not be any football in our way coming in the future. Fingers crossed. So yeah, Geeks Tuesday
Evil,
could be a
devil,
quite a thing.
purple, of course, because we do samurai level stuff.
Yeah, you know.
Anyways, if you're listening to us, we're live on Facebook and on YouTube at Joy997. Today we'll be talking about the presence of Twitter in Ghana and its impact on tech. And well, if you didn't know, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey did announce that Twitter will be setting up in Ghana, not they expand their business into the region, into the continent. And yeah, there was a whole lot of heat crying foul, 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 offside. No, it's this side, not that side. And yeah, people bitter about it. There was one tweet I saw that was interesting. This guy who threatened to actually sue Jack Dorsey when he endorsed or anything at all, you threatened to sue him. I don't think he would want to come. So with me to have this conversation, the usual suspects.
I greet you once again. Very good evening to all of you.
At Majete on Twitter. And a new guest, Bright.
Okay, I'm Etonam, and I am Etonam.
I'm the real Spiky.
With
At the
curly
real
hair.
Spiky. Yes, formerly Spiky, now curly. Are you excited about Twitter being in Ghana? Winston, I intentionally threw this to you first.
I'm still on Twitter's experiences going down the line. Yes, it does. But right now, I personally do not see the marginally
Positions advertised.
Exactly. So-
Now we'll
Into
delve
that,
deeper into
yeah.
the details of that.
But-
But I mean, it's
Oh, it's a start.
It's a start.
It's a great start.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about the uproar on Twitter, a smart play because it was A, to avoid the politics of Nigeria, and B, to avoid the taxes. So
Why not South Africa?
South Africa seems to have everything else. I don't want to say this or become of some way, but sometimes it feels like. But I mean, we'll see. Right now, I'm not particularly. There's no hooray for me.
Right. Michael.
As annoying as it is, I actually agree with Winston. There's no overwhelming yay, there's no overwhelming nay with it. It's just right there in the center. Because, yeah, it's nice that they're here, but all the things that they promise, like high-speed fiber internet connections everywhere, an AI development lab right in Abu Dhabi, like those.
I'll say I'm happy that they're
Right.
here. Yeah, from the software engineering side, knowing that you now have one of the big companies in the world, look at the software engineering hiring scene, right? Usually, lots of companies go for Nigerian developers. I don't know why. Yeah, like they're more visible in the tech ecosystem than Ghanaians. I mean, last year when the Stack Overflow developer, not just Africa, in the whole world.
The population does play a contribution to that.
it's a volume. Yeah, but I mean, like Ghana could also do the same because we have a lot of very good developers here. But it's like most of us are just hiding in our corners, and having a company like this now among us, it will probably, like, should I say, ginger people. I mean, to now showcase their work. Cause I mean, I remember there was some time ago, the Nkrumah asked, like, a lot of people were basically retweeting, atting their friends. It was like, so I commented, no, so we actually have this number of UI developers in Ghana, and I don't even know one of them. Seriously, like, if you ask me for a UI designer, I think it's like we are not that visible in the tech sense. So having a company like Twitter, it will give us that
Visibility.
yeah.
Hungrier because there's competition.
Yeah.
And it also has to do with our natural laid-back attitude as Ghanaians. Not to... And it was like, I was begging for that service when... If the tables were turned and this were a Nigerian, that person would be chasing after me after the first totally different conversation. But I get your point. It may put a spotlight on Ghanaians and then cause our developers to being said. What you're in the developer community. Is that a common feeling? Is that something?
I'll say that somehow, yeah, it's mixed. So when the tweets came out, right, there was one thing like was going about. They're like, I mean, the tech companies in Ghana, they should better hold their developers well, because I mean, loyal to you or something. I mean, everyone will go for the dollars. So yeah, and that's one part, and like you're going to make things more expensive in Ghana, because I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's mixed feelings, but
We all know Jack is also the CEO of Square. Do we think that that's the only thing he's bringing? He's also that because of Nigeria's stance on cryptocurrency recently. That was probably his excitement about crypto. Could that also have been a reason why he came here? Michael, you're nodding, so it means you probably have an opinion.
Of regulation and tracking. Like, as opposed to the Nigerian government that said, no, stop, never do this again. And even that, they recently relented on and said, our current financial systems here, which are frankly very surprisingly advanced and robust. I mean, we spoke about this a while ago with the part of what gives me a little bit of excitement, because yes, he's not just coming with just Twitter. He's bringing all of his stuff down here as well. And here he's come to his fancy office in Octagon, Accra Central. Especially the online population as well.
I saw the statistics, and I'm like, the whole of Nigeria's online population is more than the whole of Ghana.
Not just Bitcoin. Jack is very interested in up and coming developments worldwide. So by coming here, he gets asked developers, say, look, do you want to come work here? No one's going to think twice about like, oh, my loyalty. No. Nah.
To add to what Michael says, I mean, move. Like I mentioned before, he doesn't want to deal with the politics of Nigeria. Like he talked about cryptocurrency, which I keep wondering what these banks be saying about monitoring or policing crypto. It's a self-put, but that's besides the point. So Jack comes here because it's like, it's safe. We are an extremely liberal country, so it would be easier and sought after for supporting NSAS. There's not a lot of crazy tech-related taxes and stuff like that. So everybody within the Sam region is coming to Ghana for one reason or another. I remember when I was in tech, and there were a couple of people from other countries, other African countries. But yeah, that's really what the case is. But and to add to the developer bit, they talk about A and B. you can use me. Where we've realized that these international companies, when they come to Ghana, basically they are Ghanaian handlers.
Do not let the devil use you.
Yeah.
Let yourselves and the rest of us flourish when Twitter tell you, oh, how much should we pay these people in
When
Ghana?
Twitter says we want to
pay
pay them
this amount.
don't come and say that,
No,
this is Ghana, they don't need that much.
don't.
No.
And Accra is already expensive.
Well, how many
people are being
how
employed?
Much Twitter is coming
Yes.
into Ghana. You
How-
don't expect the whole headquarters to be here.
How many people are going to be employed by Twitter? First off, with the way things that we've seen in the industries that remote has gotten extremely popular, how many people does Twitter need?
It's written in their jobs, because I looked through most of them. No doubts in my mind that thousands upon thousands of the job applications there literally come from our next door neighbors.
Oh
because
yes, that
They
was
have knowledge
of the
the
Nigerian
Nigerian
market.
markets, the Nigerian politics, and even Nigerian languages like Yoruba. So it does. Ghana is sort of going to be like the hub.
yeah, it's very safe. It's like you're reaching for your tea while you're lying in bed, really, but like you did cool. Nothing terrible. If you were standing,
I'm more concerned about how the two of you drink your tea, because
Well,
this is
I
just
don't-
blasphemy.
no,
I apologize on behalf of these two jokers to all our listeners.
Particularly, concerned with the developer group in Ghana, because political and PR media related. Well, were you guys disappointed? The developers like, we're
a city or someone that like he actually like said that like, the next set of jobs will be more of software engineering
right.
jobs. Yeah, I mean, but it's just, to me, I see it as fun, because like
Do I qualify?
do I qualify? Then if no, then okay, then I'm going to do my homework, and with this too, we are now studying like what companies actually want, or what the international companies want. You then learn more, or polish your skills.
On LinkedIn too, a lot of openings for remote jobs are available, and I got a friend told me, actually my cousin told me that he applied for a remote job on LinkedIn and he got it, a developer job, and they were like, they didn't know Ghana had such good developers. So what if the jobs come out. Because I remember some people were applying for the Twitter jobs, even though that flood of unqualified people who probably also be sending in CVs. That must be a lot for Twitter to siphon through.
Waiting, just cleaning it up. And
I mean,
So that's going to be it will be more advantageous for the developers because then they can predict. If I were be inserting all those keywords
Yeah, I
in
mean,
my
if-
CV.
Those softwares are even online. I'll say their website. I think they are ATS or something like that. Job description. Then you run your CV or your resume. So it then looks at what they want and whether your CV actually match. If no, then
yeah, because you and I were talking about writing our CVs recently. That was a chore.
Yeah.
I'm still not done.
yeah. So like, I mean,
But
those-
frankly,
they help them.
you found a problem that needs to be solved. Your solution won't solve it. Go back and read.
Build an AI to sort out the trash. You'd be like, I figured you guys would be doing this, so I did it.
Well, that's
And
But also, one thing that should be mentioned is that while maybe not working directly with Twitter will be on the cards now, but by they're coming here developers as well to develop their own things from here that you then be able to plug into Twitter. And if history, next thing you know, you've been snapped up anyway and then thrown off into some other wild project. So, I mean, the opportunities are there. There are no chance for everyone to make use of.
you know, I'm just thinking about what Bright said concerning desensitized by their experiences. Someone shows up, I want you to build an app for this. The app already exists. I'll pay you with it.
The most common one is I want you to build an app. It's like Uber. That is the killer of it. It's like
Yeah.
1,000 cities.
No. You get to put your name on it and then use that exposure.
But I
Put
mean,
it in the
that's what if elsewhere. If the grass is greener on the other side
What
and
am
I
I
can
waiting
still
here?
stay in my house and get to that other side,
yeah.
what am I doing here? I'm not coming to you for yours. Because here's the thing, many international, multinational countries respect the creative arts, where I put the developers under creative arts because
I think that's general consensus because most companies don't even accept the fact that technology. My concern really is the Twitter population in Ghana. Okay, Twitter is not exactly very popular versus, but then again, if I were Twitter, would I be considering a country where Twitter is not really their main means of communication? You know, where and that does a lot, pushing for reforms, pushing policies, creating the conversation. A lot of news even breaks, should I say, optimal level of Twitter users. So that makes me wonder what would really get.
Well, man, I can make it worse for you. I mean, our internet penetration is still lower than Nigeria's entire Twitter population.
come on guys, Nigeria.
Rwanda.
Yeah, there's
Which
Rwanda,
has
but
been in the
Rwanda
news.
has its own thing going on, its own, for the lack of a better term, its own politics. Ghana, like I said, our liberal nature just makes it a sweet spot. You can come here. Not a lot of people use it. But so you can text us if you. Spiky hasn't mentioned the number,
I'll
so
mention it, I'll
you
mention
do
it.
that, but basically
When was the last time somebody watched, say, TV?
TV, like you
News.
put it on a Ghanaian TV.
A message we have on WhatsApp. Kobby Spiky, but the question is, are we saved as a country to welcome Twitter officers in GH? I don't understand what you mean by are we saved? And are you, Douglas? I'll see. I'm still seeing, you know. Like I said, let's wait for quadruple 1-997-055 1111 997 055 11119 and sets up. They open up the job opportunities for developers. There's about 20 opportunities for starters. I mean, it could be more. That's like $10,000 a month. What do you think would happen to the? Because that news will definitely break.
Yeah.
Yes, you better pay more.
Even I quite remember he's been like he left. I think he started working in a foreign company, and how much he's been paid or how much he was offered, right? And he's been paid like a very huge sum of money,
Wow.
and he wants to know how to my boss. Because I mean, if someone is still in school, doesn't have even the years of experience that I have,
And
and
is
he's
earning
taking
this.
that amount, I mean, you just have to say it back. That's why usually I don't know. Recently, most developers are looking for remote works.
Yeah.
I mean, I know most of my friends home, and so they get a remote work. Like they will not work because I mean they've gone through the hands of tech companies in Ghana, and it was
I've also dropped the Ghanaian companies. A friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, David, he actually, his falling into remote work was, I don't know how to call it, was like a cloud. Yeah, like developers in Ghana, many of them, if you like, you talked about Adam Kumoji, he's been encouraging a lot of developers that many of the local companies, if you are not going to pay that well, they will probably be forced to take interns or with 2 years experience.
Yeah.
Someone with no experience in uni is making
Yeah.
a lot more money. So why me with 10 years? It's highly unlikely, because if you think about it, how many of them are making enough money to pay each developer about $8,000?
Right, the new developers will come, they'll come and gain their skills,
Then
then
bounce.
they also run away.
Well, so we have foundation, part, and they're a hub. We had them on
Yeah.
to talk about the
hackathon.
the hackathon that we were organizing, and it's interesting to know that Ghana, and I think we have Foster Kugri on Zoom. So yeah, let's have a chat with him for us to tell us what attention of Twitter and the likes. Hi, Foster.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm very well. Great. So it's good to have you on the show. And yes, great news is happening. What can you tell us that we don't already know?
I think you know it all. The media knows how to make stories out of. As I always say, good news like these rarely happen and rarely come. So when they do, we celebrate them. For us, there's an opportunity perception now that is heavily dependent on identity. And if no one realizes or no one knows where you come from, it's difficult to do business with you, right? So it's higher. Just because Twitter decided to find its destination in Ghana, right? So there's a lot to celebrate, and for us at the Hack Lab Foundation, we are very excited to be part of this journey, creating digital skills ahead of the curve, right? Most organizations are talking about digital transformation, these technologies. There's one thing to have a black box in your office and say you are digitized. There's another thing to operationalize the black box to in the floodgates. I speak on authority because I know for a fact that other tech firms are starting to look into Ghana, operations into Ghana, right?
All right. Now, with you mentioning that, it brings to my attention, and Zuckerberg taking a stroll in Nigeria, and we've seen all these tech CEOs come that they've noticed that we haven't noticed.
So I'll quote from the late Dr. Miles Monroe. He says, where there are problems, there are business. Minerals yet to be mined. It means the potential is unmeasured and could be passed, and their participation in other economies to rely on to test these markets and see what could be. Vision is not westernization. We can only learn from that and do something different. So we think about promoting indigenous ideas. Mobile money, when it succeeded in Africa, they tried to experiment and export these to credit cards and the plastics, right? It's difficult to manage a change than we've always been used to cash, and now you're making our lives easier by introducing mobile money. For the guy who uses a credit card, he thinks this is the easiest. He has reached his climax for him. So it doesn't really give him that much leverage in terms of scared about an armed robber attacking him on his or her way, or the market woman who closes from work and has to carry huge sums along with her to the house and get attacked on the way. So we have unique continents, largest single market. The first ever largest trade agreement is the CFTA. In the next 10 years, there's anticipation that we are going away due to COVID and co. Would start to look at Africa as their source of human capital.
Right.
Why the gospel of visit our country, do this and all of that? They are trying to import skills, right? Because the more the people in the non-working to feed the dependent, and so we become the gold mine they need to survive. And so we need to really think about decisions and conversations.
Right. So finally, before I let you go, I know you're a busy man. We saw Google come for developers, for YouTubers, and all that. some way, somehow, Google bounced. Possible that we could have a repeat of this with Twitter coming to Ghana.
You see, when a company like that situates itself in the country, to justify why they sit where they are, right? It's an investment, and there are people putting in their resources. If it doesn't make sense and the ROI is not making sense, obviously you bounce.
Yeah.
That's business, right?
Yeah.
They're not running a philanthropy or a foundation or something. Advantage the likes of Twitter and Co have is the benefit of the past, which the benefits of example, right? To learn from the mistakes of those who came before to drive engagement, need to start to think about how do we keep a Twitter in Ghana and how do we bring more Twitter-like organizations into Ghana, right? So it's a big question that we have to answer as ecosystem drivers.
Whole tech ecosystem and how to drive it forward. Great to have you on the show, and we'll catch you
Thank
again.
you very much. All right, sure. Take care.
You too. So, back in the studio, that was Foster's role that developers have to play to keep them, so that we don't get another Google bounce. So another message on WhatsApp says, "Hi geeks, a convenience store." And I think Twitter are here because they've done their studies on the country's business environment and seeing that it has a good evening, Geek Squad. I applaud all your insights so far. But aren't these same tech firms LGBT right advocates? Yes, we should be happy as a nation, but also these same firms can use that. So we can't speak to that. But another thing, if you want to advertise on Twitter, unlike Facebook and Google and everything where you can use your local office here, going to make this happen. Now we can buy ads straight.
Using Momo.
Using
That'll
Momo.
be because it's very funny, but Google Play Store.
Your phone to play a game and they just start buying
Buying-
stuff.
Why do people keep doing that?
Yeah, first rule of children: don't give them your phone.
Second rule of children: do you have
Change. Are we still going to have to go through an agency to buy ads on Twitter, or they will make it possible?
Okay, so I think that will depend. So community around it in Ghana here,
Right.
and usually they have leads and this leads like meetings, and they ask you like what in your country can feel that they can put across, and I mean they can also put into consideration based on further research or studies that they'll do.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. All right. So Geek Squad is brought to you by MTN. Choose your own bundle by live streaming your own cut. Good evening. I think Twitter is doing a real good and safe job coming to a country like this, creating job opportunities, and MTN wants you to experience the safest and most secure way to enjoy MTN Momo. That's why from the 2nd of April 2021, you'll be required to present a valid national ID card anytime you visit a Momo agent point to perform a transaction. Please note, Momo it everywhere you go. So we've got. Let's pick that call right now, and we're going to speak to a data scientist. Yes, because he can give us the insights on how. So on the line right now we have Derek. Hello, Derek.
Hi, Kobby.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm very, very good. Now, a data.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, so Derek, we have a few minutes to go. I want you to give me your insights on Twitter coming to Ghana.
We should be, once again, be glad to have another Silicon Valley giant in Ghana. And I think, but then the conversation around whether or not Twitter presence has some significance to us as far as the development of data science is concerned is, I think we use Twitter most of our times, and we've been seeing a lot of the significant thing that Twitter has done. Because one of the things you said was they've been able to get their act together when they got artificial intelligence in. And these days, so they're able to build more advanced AI platforms and to apply to the most complex algorithms that they were having challenges with, especially when we have tweet recommendation to its users on the timeline. And with the goal is that they should be able to highlight the most relevant. But then today, the algorithm can scan and even score thousands of tweets per second to rank them for the user or the user's feed.
Yeah.
Some sort of racist comment or content on the platform. And I think with the enforcement of the GDPR and many other regulations, fake news or even illegal content on social media is quite being significant these days. Data scientists have really played a major role. And working as a data scientist in Twitter, there are two categories of them. So we have those who, doing analysis or gain insight from the data.
Right.
And these guys' work is just, you have to be able to work with large data sets. You should be somebody who can do visualization as well as have some domain for building. And these guys are responsible for building the data product. That's the user task. You should be able to understand coding very well to be able to work as that. And as we all know, business, if you're in a startup, if you're at the mid-stage level, if you're even an enterprise or a large-scale company, you can even use Twitter.
Right.
With Twitter coming to Ghana, what exactly do I have and how do I even work with them? So at Twitter, we have to discover some insights and be able to implement the insight to better understand the product.
Right.
And that's a very major key responsibility of a data scientist at Twitter. Because you are going to gather data whenever a user interacts with the device later. And there are various ways you can actually analyze this sort of data. You can do a straightforward method of understanding a user across, different carriers and even analyze multiple user accounts. We're also looking at the data pipeline because, you can make it easier for any data scientist to operationalize on.
Wow. So that means that for data scientists...
Yes, Kobby, in fact, this particular one, my major concern has been the fact that, with these companies coming to Ghana, I think, or even Africa, one of the things that this has to really have an effect on has to do with our policy and the way educational institutions run programs in over here.
Right.
I think you and I agree that, or you even know university right here, that does that. And most of the things that we do are just fusing the traditional computer science, statistics, is to be able to, we always have to be proactive doing certain things because some of these opportunities will not always make, in government or top official. I never think I'll get to know, but that Twitter is going to open, its African headquarters in Ghana. I think if there's anyone who also reading data science or trying to learn around it, what the company needs are, then you obviously have a chance to stay in.
Thank you very much, Derek. That's a way to get in there. So thank you very much, Winston. Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you very much, Eton. Us. Geek Squad was brought to you by MTN. Choose your own bundle, your own way with MTN Flexi Bundle. Just that. The benefits of Twitter HQ in Ghana would depend on the kind of operations they plan to have here. Call center, for example, will bring jobs. So guys, I will catch you next week on another episode of Geek Squad. We've got a lot of topics from this conversation I think we need to have.